Hi guys. So last time we discussed about how we can create a simple component like hello, and we were able to create a file called hello. The component name was also hello, and we returned some HTML, which was visible as we can see in the output here. Now let us try to create one more component this time so that we can get comfortable with React components. And this time I'm going to create a component called login. So the component or my tag name is going to be login. Now the rule is if my component name is login, then my function name will also be login. Right? So that is the rule. And in general, we create a file also with the same name as the component name. Now, this is not important, but it is a good practice to create a separate file with the same name as the name of the component, like we did for hello. So we will repeat the same steps this time. Let's first create a file, give it a name login.js, and we will keep this file in our source folder. Next thing, we will create a component with the, a function with the name login, and we will return some HTML. Now, what will be that HTML? If I want to create a tag called login, that means I want to show a login form. So effectively, this login tag should show a login form when I place it in the HTML. So I'm going to return the HTML, which is going to be a simple form, but we will not use the form tag. We will just add a div, and inside that we will write our two input tags, one for username and another for password. So first is going to be text. We'll give it a name as username and close it. Next, I'm going to create for passwords input type equal to password and name equal to password. Simple. Now, I will also add a button and write here login so that people can see the login button also, which is very simple. All right. And one more thing, I'm going to do an export default of login so that I can use it in my app.js file, same as I did with my hello component. Now, there is one thing we need to understand, which is that whenever we use any tag within our React component, which is non-closing. For example, div is a closing tag. It has an opening and a closing. Button is also similar to div with an opening tag and a closing tag. But input, you see, does not have a closing. You do not have an input and then you close the input tag, right? We do not do that. Same thing, if we compare another tag called br, which is line break tag, that is also a non-closing tag. So any tag which doesn't close, we need to self-close it, otherwise we will get an error. So we'll just write here slash, forward slash, and the same thing here to close the tag. This is important, otherwise your React component will throw error. So that is one important thing we need to do. Then we will save it. And after that, I'm going to now repeat the same step. I will go to the app.js, import my component, which is import login from /, which means import from the same directory, same folder where my app.js file is kept, because my login.js is also in the same folder. Login, and we do not need a .js extension. It will automatically be imported without that. And then we will just use our login tag here. Login, close the login tag, save it, and let us see the output. Okay, there is a small error. It is saying login not defined because I did type it wrong here. So it should be login and save it. And now we can see that our login tag should be visible. It's again complaining. Let us see what is the problem. We have login.js here. We'll just look at the error reference login not defined. Let me save it. And things look fine to me. And yes, my login tag is coming here. Now, what is the benefit of tag? The benefit of tag is we create once and we can use as many times as I want. So I'm going to again copy my login tag, maybe keep it in another 2 places here, and we will see that we will get the same HTML, input coming everywhere. Right? All right. Now, one small change I want to do is that I don't like this long, in one line, input tags. So I'm going to add a line break. And as I told you, that line break is also, it's a non-closing tag. That means it doesn't have a closing tag. So we are going to close it like that. If we do not close it and save it, we will see that we will get an error, right? And it is saying that you have not closed the tag. So it's important that we close the line break like that. We will add one more line break for our input, password tag, save it. And after that, let us see that. And yes, I have my login tag working fine now, right? So that is how I can create a simple component called login. And wherever I want a login functionality, I can directly use the login tag without worrying about, writing the entire HTML and all those things again in the page. But you guys will say, fine, we have a login tag, but what about styling it? So we will learn to style, and there are many different ways in which we can style a component. For now, we will go with a simple way. And the simple way is we will go to the app.css file, which is the main CSS file available for our React project. And I'm going to add a class called .login. Now, one more convention we have is that if my component name is login, then the related CSS, it's good to have the same name as login so that we can understand which component it belongs to. So here it is, the login class, and I'm going to just add a border with 4 pixels, solid blue. Let's add some padding also. And we will add some margins. Right, save it. And now we will apply this class on our login component. We'll write class. Now here is one difference. We do not write class. That is another rule of our React component. I do understand that there are certain rules, but believe me, once you get comfortable with these rules, you will be easily able to write awesome components. So instead of class, because class is a reserved keyword, we use class name with n capital. And just write the class, which is login. So everything is the same, just instead of class that we use in HTML, we use class name here. That is the only difference. Save it. And now let us see the output of our code. And here is it. Wow, my login component is working with this style. And I do see that again, it is taking a lot of width. So I can do some additional changes in my component, and I will say that the width should be just maybe, 30%. Let us see how it looks like. And after 30%, I think we can do better by making it 35%. Sorry, not 35%, 25%. And yes, this looks better. And we can see now that my tag is working perfectly fine, and I can use it as many times as I want. So that is the benefit of using a tag, a custom tag, or a component. Now I am using these words, at the same time. So what does that mean? I'm saying custom tag, and I'm also saying component. Well, both are the same thing, because whenever we create a component in React, like login and hello, it gives me a custom tag. So when I have a login component, what do I get? I get a login tag. right? So that is how I am using these terms interchangeably, but from now on, I'm going to call it a component. But remember that a React component gives you a custom tag, which you can place in your HTML. That's it. So having said that, now we can see that we are able to create a login component, and we are able to also create a simple hello component. So now, guys, let us try to go back and try to create few more components, style them, and see how we can create simple, good-looking pages. For example, you can also create a complete website with a component called menu. You can create a component called login. You can also create a component called, let us say, website footer, right? And if you add all of these together, you can create an amazing website. So as an assignment, go home and try to do these. And if you have any questions, you can always ask me in the comment section in the video.